My name is Rajiv Khanna, and I'm a director of a company called Raj Khanna Associates based in the United Kingdom. Ellie Bowett and Charlotte Miller from APMG have asked some of the training providers to see if we can put in short videos on certain elements of the change initiative. We recently put together a video on Moscow prioritization. So if you haven't had an opportunity, we'd love you to watch it and provide us with any feedback you may have from that video. For this video, we want to talk about the team rather than the specifics of two methodologies called Agile, Project Management, and Scrum Master. So we'll try and demonstrate as to what the similarities, the differences in the team structure are, and how you may, as a business or as an organization, try and get a blended approach in making this work for you. We're not going to go into the detail of the Agile project management as we've already conducted webinars in the past, and you may want to watch those. But in any good project management methodology, which is what Agile is, there will be a part of the journey called pre-project, feasibility, foundation, and then once we've done that and made a decision, we now move into something called the evolutionary development, where we are actually going to create the required solution. In our opinion, the Scrum methodology is not a project management methodology, but it's more about a solution development or solution enhancement. So how do they work? Well, first of all, not every new initiative, in other words, something we're building from scratch, does need to go through the full governance structure of a project. So if you're producing something, for example, the National Health Service in the UK, as part of the Accident Emergency Department, want to create a new triage procedure due to some government legislation or due to some learning from another country. In which case, we do not believe it's necessary to go through pre-project feasibility foundation. We could simply bring a team together to develop this new triage procedure. Therefore, consider the complexity. So if you are creating something from scratch, if the level of complexity rises, then we would need to understand the early part. If not, for the example within the NHS, we could simply go into the development of that solution, and then we deploy it where we get people to start using it. So this part of our journey, which we refer to as increment, could actually have one or two sub units or sub solutions that are actually produced. For the triaging procedure, we're not sure if this is necessary, but for example, producing a triage and a discharge procedure, you may actually have two elements within solution development. These, first of all, within the Agile terminology, are referred to as time boxes, whereas within Scrum, they're called sprints. So the first thing we need to understand is within our organization, what terminology do we use? Do we call them time boxes or do we call them sprints? Additionally, within Agile, they're referred to as a solution development team, whether in Scrum, they're simply referred to as a development team. So what's the makeup? So if we look at the Agile, which is a project management methodology, and if we are going to manage it and have pre-project feasibility foundation, in which case it's likely that we should have a project manager. And within the organization, there may also be a role called a DSDM coach or an Agile coach. And these are the people who understand this DSDM or Agile approach. They can coach, they can educate the senior management team and the members of the solution development team. Within Agile, as you see, these roles have like a badge. So we have somebody who's called the business ambassador. They come from their business area, they have good knowledge of the business, and they will provide the day-to-day details as the solution is being developed. The business analyst will be looking at the solution and saying whether the solution will work for the business. So the way we deliver it, is it actually possible? So if we do deliver a triaging procedure, the way we expect it to work, would the business be able to operate it? Of course, we have a solution developer and we have a solution tester. We've shown as a different test because a solution tester first will be part of the development team and then part of the business team. And these are the 4 roles within the solution development team. And the guidance is that the numbers could be sort of plus or minus 7, plus or minus 2, so about 5 to 9. Any bigger than that, it gets very cumbersome, and hence we should think about breaking that team. One other thing that Agile just go to promote is the team itself should develop or identify rather a leader, somebody who could actually lead the team, not managing it and telling them what to do, but they have a team leader. Within the Scrum terminology, you see they're only referred to as the development team. So none of these people have a badge. We simply say, bring the team together, give them something to deliver and get on and do it. So without actually giving them badges. So does that work? Of course, there are a number of people who will say it works for them. So we would like to share our suggestion and ask you to consider whether this approach would work within your team or not. And within the organization for Scrum, we have a role called a Scrum Master. Again, the Scrum Master understands the Scrum process, the Scrum planning, the Scrum retrospectives, etc., and the dynamics as to how the team would work. But you see, they sit outside the team. They're not part of the team. And their role will be to coach the team and to coach senior members of the organization. So for us, very similar to the role of the DSDM or the Agile coach. There's a lot of overlap, and what terminology we use in the organization will be dependent on you. But we see a lot of jobs these days advertised for Scrum Masters. A Scrum Master, as we said, is outside, but within the team itself, as we said, the team appoint their own leader. And that is referred to as a servant leader who's not there to manage the team, tell them what to do, but to actually be there and say, what can I do for the team? In order to develop the team, you may use different authors, their suggestions, and again get a blended approach. You've got Tuckman, who talks about storming, norming, performing, etc. We have Glazer and Glazer, who discuss the team development. And of course, we have Belbin that talks about the team roles. Please search the website and understand a little bit about those, or attend our Change Management APMG accredited Change Management course. So the Apprentice. Now, I know this is we're talking about in the United Kingdom, led by Lord Sugar, but it's similar in other parts of the world. So what happens in the Apprentice is Lord Sugar says to the 2 teams, here's a task, here's your terms of reference, this is what I want you to produce. So the teams then, first of all, go away and appoint what the program calls a project manager. Of course, the program is very successful and the term is used widely. But in our opinion, are they really a project manager? We believe they should be called a team leader. That doesn't sound very grand on TV, but that's the role they should play. They're telling the team what to do, and you can see the dynamics doesn't seem to work very well. But the process they go through is what we are recommending. So the first time the team come together as a solution development team or a development team, our view is they should appoint a team leader. There is no concept within Scrum that you should have a team leader, but I'll explain why we believe it's useful to have a team leader. So the apprentice, does it do it? In our opinion, there should be a team leader because a team leader actually has one of the roles of the team, but they're leading them. Because you would see Baroness Brady saying to somebody, but you did not do anything, and you were the project manager. Well, all the definitions that we see of project managers in textbooks and best practice, a project manager is there to manage. They're not there to do. And if Lord Sugar, Baroness Brady are expecting this individual to be doing things as part of the team in selling or any task they're doing, then they should be more a team leader, a servant leader, and then we can see the dynamics of the team working considerably better. We, as part of Agile Leicester, went to a Lego evening, an excellent evening, thoroughly enjoyable, and we were asked to produce tables for a meeting room by a role called the product owner. So you see, we all sat down and we're all making tables or doing things. There was no direction. We didn't appoint a team leader and we just got on. And for me and our team, as you see, that's where I'm part of that team, it didn't work as well. So we, I believe, should have had a team leader. Also in our team, the first sprint, we produced something which was actually rejected by the product owner because it didn't meet what she was after. And by the third sprint, we had somebody within our team, and in this case, this lady here, who actually then liaised with the product owner outside and brought her ideas back to the meeting. And it made our team work considerably better. So what we are recommending we do, first of all, the role, a DSDM coach, a role called a Scrum Master, both of them sitting outside, can be performed by a project manager. So somebody who's good at project management can also become a Scrum Master and the roles can be combined. Also, don't give a badge to people. What we suggest you say to the team, there should be somebody within the team who takes on a business perspective. So somebody should be out there, perhaps liaising with the business outside, but bringing the ideas to the team. So you have a role in defining what the solution should look like. There should be somebody in the team who is actually then creating the solution, and then somebody should be testing to make sure what is being asked is done. So the person who defines it, of course, can take on the role of a tester as well. So instead of simply saying to the team, go and do something, we start to give them some responsibilities that need to be covered. And perhaps if it doesn't work for you, don't give them badges, but at least get them to think about who is the business representative and who is the supplier representative. So in our case, as we said, it worked a lot better once we got to a point that somebody took on the responsibility of the business, but we still didn't have a team leader. So going back to our National Health Service example, we're asked to produce a triage procedure. So we have a doctor, we have a therapist, we have a nurse in a team. Well, within that team, it is advisable to say to them, well, somebody should be reflecting as to how this procedure is going to work. If not, you're going to have the same situation as we had, that everybody starts to write different sections without any direction, without any control. And therefore, even when we're writing a procedure, we say to people, make sure you appoint yourself a team leader. And of course, decide who is the business representative and who is the supplier representative. So get the team working better. So I hope you can see how we are recommending the agile approach without actually giving any badges to the team. And we can combine somebody who's good at project management can also be a Scrum Master. The roles can be combined. At a presentation, I was asked, can the role of a business analyst be left out? Because they had done Agile. And I said, no, there's somebody in the team who should be taking on that kind of responsibility, but not be given a badge. So the team dynamics as recommended by Scrum would still work because the teams are still self-organizing. Nobody's telling the team from outside who should do what. So they're not being directed by others, but at least the team can think about within themselves as to who should take on. And some of you may have heard of Daniel Pink, where Daniel Pink talks about for an individual, they need to have autonomy, which we're saying self-organizing teams do. They have a purpose, so they know what they're producing, and they have mastery, because different members of the team would have different skills. And of course, it's very important that we still use this concept of the team values, because as a team, we need to respect each other. There needs to be trust. There needs to be commitment, etc. And speak up. If there is an issue, if the team isn't working very well, speak up during. Don't wait for retrospective 5 weeks later to come and find out, oh, we could have done things differently. So have the courage. So the Scrum values, the team dynamics are still extremely important. Call it the development team, will those specific roles. So we hope you find that useful. Any questions, we'll give you your contact details, but from our point, please look after yourself, look after your colleagues and friends, and of course, the public sector, the people who are looking after us, people who we take for granted at whatever times, not just in the current situation where we are in. So if there are any questions, comments, please don't hesitate to contact us. In these areas, APMG International, as you see, they have a number of offices. This is the UK number, and offices in India, Australia, etc. Or please contact us via our email, rk@arcana.co.uk, or through our Twitter, or through our website.